Let's talk about AI music generation. For a lot of people, it's still kind of this fun little toy. But what if I told you that with the right approach, it can be a legit creative powerhouse? Today, we're going to completely flip the script on how you think about prompting. We're moving away from just making simple requests and learning how to build detailed, architectural plans for sound.
Okay, check this out. This really gets to the heart of it all. On the left, you've got a decent prompt. Afro house, 120 BPM, deep sub-bass kick. It's fine. But then, look at the right. That's not a request, that's an architectural plan. Instead of just deep kick, it specifies a kick with significant sub-bass frequency presence and a moderate, rounded attack for warmth. The difference is night and day, right? This is what separates a generic AI track from something that sounds genuinely professional. So how do we get from the prompt on the left to the blueprint on the right?
Well, that's exactly what we're here to do. Here's our roadmap. We'll start by really understanding this prompting chasm. Then we'll dissect the anatomy of what we're calling a sound blueprint. After that, we'll get into a practical translation guide, talk about mastering AI constraints, and wrap up by looking at this whole new creative codex.
So have you ever noticed how AI music can sound, well, kind of bland? A little generic? The reason is actually super simple. Vague prompts create vague music. Just think of the AI as this brilliant student who's read every music blog and listened to every song on the planet. If you just say Afro House, it's going to give you the most average, by-the-book version of Afro House it can think of. The problem isn't the AI's creativity, it's that we're not giving it any creative direction.
So, the solution is a big mental shift. We need to stop making requests and start handing over blueprints. And that's the whole idea behind the sound blueprint. You're not just a client asking for a song anymore. No, you're the architect, meticulously designing every single beam, every wire, every finish from the ground up.
And this is where it gets really fun. We're not just saying kick drum. We're calling out the exact model, a Roland TR-909. If you know electronic music, you know that sound. We're defining its punchiness with a tight transient, that's that initial clicky snap, and we're even pinpointing its sub-bass to sit exactly at 60 Hz. And look, we're even telling it what not to do, no bleed. That means we want it clean, isolated, with no other sounds leaking in. We're talking surgical control here.
Okay, now let's build on that with the baseline. We're specifying Moog style, and that works because the AI has processed countless descriptions linking that term to that iconic warm, fat analog sound. But here's the real kicker. We're programming a performance. It's not just the static loop. It's in the key of A minor, and it's evolving. The filter cutoff modulates every 8 bars. That's what gives the track that feeling of life and movement.
And get this, you're basically becoming a mix engineer right inside the prompt. We're commanding these specific atmospheric pads, right? But we're also setting the reverb decay time down to 1/10 of a second and literally carving out its place in the mix. We're telling the AI, hey, this sound lives only between 200 Hz and 8 kHz. This is how you stop everything from turning into a big muddy mess.
So to bring it all together, that's a sound blueprint. It's a systematic, detailed set of instructions. It's a complete paradigm shift. You stop being a collaborator who's just kind of hoping for a good result, and you become the programmer who dictates every single detail with absolute pinpoint precision.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually write one of these things? This is the part where we need to become translators. We have to take all that technical studio jargon that producers use and translate it into the kind of descriptive, evocative language that these AI models actually get.
This table, right here, is basically your Rosetta Stone for AI music. Look at the difference. Instead of a dry technical command like sidechain -5 dB, you describe the sound it makes. Heavy sidechain compression. You know that pumping, breathing effect in dance music? You're describing the feel of it. Instead of just saying scale equals D Dorian, you give it some flavor, like jazzy D Dorian scale. You're telling a story about the sound, using the exact words the AI has learned to associate with certain musical vibes. And you can break the whole process down into 4 pretty simple steps. First, define your technical goal, what you want to happen. Second, find those descriptive words to paint a picture of it. Third, you add structural markers, intro, drop, chorus, to map the whole thing out. And finally, you wrap it all in an overall mood like midnight drive through a sleeping metropolis. Okay, let's level up. We're getting into the advanced stuff now. The single most powerful prompting technique isn't just about telling the AI what you want, it's about explicitly telling it what you don't want. It's like you're building a creative fence to force the AI down the exact path you designed.
I mean, this sentence says it all.
The AI can generate a near-infinite universe of possible sounds. Your job is to stop hoping it stumbles on the right one and instead to start restricting what's even possible. You strategically close off all the wrong avenues so that the only outcome left is the one you designed from the very beginning.
So how do we do that? Well, there are a few key techniques. Negative prompts are all about forbidding things, which we'll look at next. Then there's constraint-based language, which is like locking in a setting, saying locked 4/4 time signature so the AI can't get weird with the rhythm. State machine logic sounds complex, but it's really just turning elements on and off for different sections. And binary instruction sets are the most direct of all, just vocals disabled. You see what's happening? This is programming, not just prompting.
And here is a perfect example of a negative prompt in action. Imagine you want a really dark, minimal techno track. Look at what's being forbidden here. Avoid cheery pop hooks, big riser EDM snares, male pop belting. You're basically telling the AI to avoid anything that sounds like it could be on Top 40 radio. By closing all of these doors, you force the AI to get creative and find a solution within that dark, minimal box you've built. You're preventing a bad result before it even has a chance to happen.
So where does all this leave us? Well, this level of detailed prompting is quickly becoming more than just a technical skill. It's actually evolving into a new kind of artistry in and of itself. The prompt, the sound blueprint, is becoming as much a work of creative genius as the music it generates.
So here's the ultimate takeaway. If you want professional, predictable results, it all comes down to precision and constraint. Every single detail you can quantify is one less thing the AI has to guess about. You have to start thinking of yourself less as a collaborator and more as a developer who is debugging a complex system. You're giving it flawless code to execute your vision. That right there is the new artistry.
And that leaves us with a pretty deep thought to chew on. As these prompts get more intricate, more detailed, and frankly more artful, it really forces us to ask a huge question. When the prompt itself becomes the masterpiece, what does it even mean to be a musician in the age of AI?